Today's post is real patient transformation, case studies and stories where identity level shifts produced results that nothing else could. Many people ask me what quantum healing actually is. Rather than define it only as a theory, I want to answer through stories, because stories often reveal truth more powerfully than concepts. After decades in the healing arts, including 25 years in acupuncture and energy medicine, I began noticing something kind of troubling. It began to feel like that whack-a-mole game again. One problem down, another pops up. And I realized many interventions were helping people cope, but not always helping them transform. Now that sent me on a deeper search for the real root causes of suffering, beyond what I was trained in. And what I began discovering is that the deepest healing often did not come because someone found one more technique. It came when something shifted the level of identity. Their sense of who they were changed. Their energy reorganized. Their perception changed. And when that happened, results sometimes occurred that nothing else had been able to produce. I call those moments quantum shifts or quantum leaps. You see, in quantum physics, a particle can jump to another energy state seemingly outside of linear time. And so in quantum healing, there can also be what I call a shift point. It's when suddenly everything reorganizes. Pain could instantly dissolve, depression can lift, vitality returns. It can almost feel miraculous, but often it's the natural consequence of a deeper realignment. What we often call miracles are just higher universal laws that we're not recognizing yet. Let me give you some examples. A woman from the San Francisco area came to me with chronic ankle pain that many specialists had not resolved, but that was only part of it. She also had dizziness, brain fog, low energy, instability when walking, and she had gained weight because she was avoiding movement. And this had happened after a seizure the year before. So she came to me for the ankle pain, but as I talked to her, all these other things came out. So as I assessed her, what stood out was not the ankle itself, but deeper energetic disorganization in her system. We worked with balancing methods that addressed her chakras and a larger energetic alignment, what I call the assemblage point. That's where the alignment of the physical body and the larger cosmic energy field around us can go out of whack, just like a car alignment can go out. So assemblage point adjustment is where you move those together in proper alignment using a crystal wand. So interestingly, I really did nothing directly to her ankle. So after this one treatment, I asked her to simply walk down the hallway and report back. She came back visibly excited. Her ankle pain was gone. And her mind felt clearer. She felt steadier. Her energy had lifted. That session led her to begin walking several miles every morning. She lost weight, she regained her vitality, and the ankle pain did not return. So what changed? Her identity shifted from someone fragile and limited into someone reconnected to movement, energy, and possibility. That identity shift changed everything. Another case happened when I was teaching a pain management seminar in Los Angeles. A veteran came in with severe chronic pain that many therapies had failed to relieve. His pain was 8 out of 10 most of the time. He had already had many different kinds of drugs. He had had multiple acupuncture sessions. He had had hypnotherapy. He had had electrotherapy. He even had an implantable pain releasing, he even had an implantable pump in his butt that was releasing drugs into him. And none of this was really helping all that much. So when he was in front of the room, in front of these 35 doctors and practitioners, I used all the methods that I was teaching that usually worked well. Guess what? Nothing happened. I was stressed, frustrated. Then something unexpected occurred. I had to let go. I stopped trying. There was a profound stillness. Something in the field shifted. And immediately, this man named Jack reported his pain was 80% reduced, just like that. and it held. So what happened? There was not me doing something better. It was that when the effort collapsed, a deeper reorganization happened. You can also say that all those 35 people, by putting their attention on us, were contributing their healing energy, and I was acting simply as a catalyst for it to reorganize to help him make this deeper shift. Now, sometimes breakthroughs begin when control lets go. Breakdown precedes breakthrough. And healing can work the same way. I saw this again in a group setting when there was 100 acupuncturists on a Zoom training a few weeks ago. A little bit into the training, I asked everyone to identify a symptom that they wanted support with. Now, anything from pain to anxiety to fatigue. We spent a few minutes entering a coherent healing field together. Afterwards, the chat exploded. People reported less pain, more energy, reduced emotional distress, greater clarity. And I talked to two of those people a week later, and both of them told me that one woman whose knee pain disappeared, it was still feeling better. And the other one said that there was kind of a heaviness she was feeling, and she still felt better. So some of this really held from that 5-minute group kind of spontaneous healing. So you see, what interests me is not only symptom improvement. It's that many describe feeling more connected, lighter, more like themselves again. Identity was changing. Now here's another story. A practitioner trained with me to learn quantum healing, and she had been a hypnotherapist and an energy healer and did some body work. So a woman came to her right after she had this training who was severely depressed since age 12, and she was now 32. She had had many suicidal ideations. This woman had been to traditional therapy quite a few times and had not brought any lasting relief. So during a quantum healing session with my client, rather than trying to fix her, this practitioner relaxed into the field and allowed something deeper to happen. When she asked this young woman later, she said it was as though a certain way of seeing the world had simply fallen away. The depression lifted. Her life began moving again. So notice what changed. Not merely mood, perception, identity. The self she had taken herself to be was no longer organizing her experience. She realized that that was a false story that she had been very invested in a deep way that was hard for other therapists to access. That's profound healing. So what do all these stories have in common? Less doing, more allowing, less symptom chasing, more root reorganization. And in each case, healing was not separate from awakening. There was a shift in consciousness. That's why I say the most satisfying healing is often a package deal. Relief comes together with a deeper reorientation of self. The person does not merely feel better, they become different. And this is what many conventional models miss. Now, we tend to think healing is about reducing symptoms or making people cope better with their behavior. Those things are really appreciated and helpful. But often the greater invitation is helping people release an outdated identity, an identity built around pain, trauma, scarcity, helplessness, identifying with a certain way of being that's no longer them. Now, when that begins to dissolve, the nervous system can reorganize. The body can respond differently. The future can open, can transform. It's like we could call that changing timelines. You can also say that healing is about that in any moment when you're consciously aware, there's multiple timelines in front of you, multiple possible realities you're moving into. Every second it's that way. One of those could be staying more or less the same. Another timeline could be things actually getting worse and more crises happen. But then there's other timelines where things radically improve beyond your expectations. And this is also why the presence of the practitioner matters so much. Yes, techniques matter, but presence matters more. Because the practitioner's coherence can become catalytic. Their presence becomes part of the medicine. And this is where avatar consciousness enters. The healer's not just approaching methods. They're also acting as a catalyst in a larger field. Their consciousness helps evoke something in the other person that was already trying to awaken, but just needed that support. So if you've struggled with a condition that keeps returning, if you've tried many methods and you feel discouraged, I want to offer a reframe. It may not be that you failed healing. It may be that life is asking for a deeper level of healing than symptom relief alone. It may be inviting an identity shift, a shift in how you perceive yourself and who you really are, a shift in what you believe is possible, a shift in what part of you is leading your life. That may be where your breakthrough lives. Try this reflection. Ask yourself, where have I been trying to manage a problem that may be inviting transformation instead? Sit with that. Feel it in your body. There may be more intelligence in your struggle than you realized. Now, if this resonates, put the word transformation in the comments. I'd love to hear whether you've ever experienced a breakthrough that came only after something deeper shifted inside of you. Subscribe to this channel if you want more on quantum healing, avatar consciousness, and the deeper roots of real transformation. And remember, sometimes healing does not begin when you find a better technique. Sometimes it shifts when who you think you are awakens into something even more real.